Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Massive crowd witnesses swearing in of Bayelsa State Governor Seriake Dixon for another 4-year term. Catholic bishops back the federal government's anti-corruption war. Shock as herbalist admits to killing 2 men under controversial circumstance in Kogi State. And France urges Turkey to end its assault on Kurdish fighters in northern Syria. Do remember all our top stories can be found on our websites, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on a mobile device and download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. We also urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app. For those pictures or videos that you'd like to share with us, just tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. And we're glad to receive these pictures that you sent in. We'll begin with this one from Lassa in Ikeja, the Lagos State capital city, showing this woman who's said to be hypertensive, having heart failure and also homeless. Our Eyewitness reporter says the 40-year-old sleeps on the streets and calls for help from kind-hearted Nigerians. Still on humanitarian services, this photo from Eket in Akwa Ibom State showing these people celebrating the Valentine's Day with motherless babies. Finally, this dangerous move from the 3rd Mainland Bridge here in Lagos, a young man hanging onto the back of a moving bus. Our Eyewitness reporter wants men of the Federal Road Safety and Lagos Traffic Management Authority to beam their searchlights on such actions and urges people to desist from them. Thank you for sending in those pictures, and please know that you too can report news and events happening around you. To health now, the World Health Organization estimates that about 19 million people living with disabilities are resident in Nigeria. These people are asking for inclusion and acceptance from Nigerians in the government. A peek into the life of some of these people shows individuals who prefer to be recognized for their hard work. Our correspondent, Amy Thompson, reports.
In Bayelsa State, Esther Gold is determined to face life with at least a skill since she stopped attending secondary school because of lack of finance. She practices powerlifting 6 days in a week.
If she can be able to carry the highest for her class, automatically she will be the winner. And what we do, we get a loader there that will stand by her side. And referee will be there, 3 referees, 1, 2, 3. Based on that, I will now, as a coach, will train her until the day of competition.
In Kaduna State, 15 individuals have decided to take their destiny into their hands instead of begging for alms. They formed a physically handicapped welding multipurpose cooperative society. Here, they make wheelbarrows, doors, burglary for windows, and other metal products. They said they enjoyed startup fund from the state government.
I will go for Kaduna State Rehabilitation Board for training for this work. So, after training, I come together, we open this workshop where you see him here.
Mrs. Rahamat Jawondo is a teacher resident in Ilorin, Kwara State. She says although life as a physically challenged is not easy, she enjoys a number of benefits.
I really enjoy myself being in a physical challenge. So people find it difficult, but I really enjoy myself because anything that I need help, people come to me to help me. If I go to the bank, they will give me honor, they will do difference for me. In fact, I really enjoy myself being a physical challenged person.
Her story is, however, not a common one, as persons living with disabilities have continuously asked for inclusion and acceptance by members of the society and the Nigerian government. This demand has led to the creation of the Lagos State Office of Disability Affairs.
One of the functions of this office is to make the public buildings accessible. And the Lagos State government has taken that up. If you go around the secretariat, this very secretariat and the old secretariat, you will see that the buildings are equipped with handrails and ramps. And this will be extended to all the public buildings by the end of this year, because we've started intensifying on our advocacy campaign.
Entrepreneurs in the Nigerian economy have also been asked to give consideration to people living with disabilities in employment into the private sector. Ini Thompson reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's take this discussion further now. Joining me on the news at 10 is the Director, Anglo-Nigerian Welfare Association for the Blind, Mr. Danlami Basharu. You're welcome to the news at 10.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now, how would you describe the living condition of the average person with disabilities in Nigeria?
Well, I must say it's not very easy. It's very difficult, mainly because, number one, there's the issue of accessibility. There's so many places in the country that are just inaccessible: buildings, roads, transportation, information, communications. Virtually everything around the country is just inaccessible for persons with disabilities. And I'm afraid to say, coming into your station today, I didn't really find it very easy. So I wonder what a wheelchair user would make of it. So it's very difficult. We're not included in society. Government doesn't even seem to recognize that persons with disabilities do exist. It's unfortunate. It's been the case for 16 years, and it's not looking like it's going to actually change. So we hope that change will come, but it's not looking that way for now.
Well, our apologies for the difficulties you experienced coming into the station much earlier. But would government legislation help, people to understand, what you're going through, and will it help to ameliorate the sufferings?
Oh, definitely. That's really what we're after, legislation at the national level. There's legislation already at state level, like Lagos State and some other states in the country. Actually, Lagos State is doing really, really well. But yes, national legislation is most needed because, number one, if we're going to be part of the international community, then we have to abide by what we sign on to. Nigeria has ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, including its optional protocol. And Article 4 of that says that we have to have some form of national legislation in order to make the convention workable. We do need legislation that would actually respect the rights of persons with disabilities, guarantee us dignity in every way possible.
I know that, there should be gender-related challenges. I mean, the same challenges that a male person with disabilities has is not the same that a female person with disabilities has.
Yeah.
What are those challenges that you have?
Well, certainly, a female with disability actually has double or triple difficulties. One, she's a person with disabilities. Secondly, she's female, and all that goes with being female. They lack the necessary wherewithal to be able to enjoy their sexual and reproductive life. And that is common with every female, but worse still for women with disabilities. Particularly, you go to hospitals, the beds are just inaccessible for women with disabilities. And various clusters of disabilities have different types of challenges, actually.
People with disabilities want to be seen as hardworking individuals. I mean, they really do not need the pity of government or anybody else, because you're all, educated in your own rights, you all have skills and so on. But would provision of vocational opportunities for your group, would it help to make you more independent? Would that help to alleviate some of the challenges that you have? And would it also help to put you more in front of government so they're more responsive to you?
Yeah, obviously. Is it the issue? I think the main issue is one of inclusiveness. You know, we still don't have an inclusive society where persons with disabilities are included in all decision-making processes of government. Small scale, vocational skills, and so on. All these are things that persons with disabilities should have access to. When you develop a policy for all Nigerians, then you have to ensure that all Nigerians, it means all Nigerians, persons with disabilities, women, children, and all. And so if government is really prepared to include persons with disabilities, then its policies should be made usable by persons with disabilities. You know, we have this slogan, we say nothing about us without us. So that when you are taking a decision, making a decision that will affect persons with disabilities, we all have to be at the table as well, so that our voices are heard. At the moment, our voices are not being heard. It's an issue. It's more of an issue of maybe tokenism. You get one person with disabilities, stick him somewhere, and then you think, you know, you have sorted out the problems of persons. No, we want to be fully involved in decision making. We want to be part of those who actually run the country as well, given the opportunities. You know, just like the convention says, we have to be given every single opportunity that every other person is entitled to, politically, economically, socially. Article 29 says we should be included in political life, in public life, and government should make that possible. You see, government at the national level has a huge role to play in creating a life that persons with disabilities will be able to live independently. At the moment, national government is not doing anything about that. Like I said, the Lagos state government is really about the only government in the country that is kind of sensitive to the needs of persons with disabilities. It has its own law.
Yeah.
And recently, we just heard that the Lagos state government is now recruiting sign language interpreters in hospitals.
Which is huge
Which
anyway.
is a great effort forward. I wish we could push Lagos State to the national level.
Well, wishes do come true, you never know, but 19 million people,
actually it's over 19 million.
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, so because the World Health Organization report says 15% of the population of any country lives with disability. So if you take Nigeria's population to be about 170 million, we're talking of almost 30 million persons with disabilities in Nigeria.
And you cannot ignore that figure. So government
it's
really
a critical figure in politics.
Yes, so we really do.
And we did bring the government that is currently empowering into place. Anyway, persons with disabilities voted massively. And if we voted massively, then we should be fully included.
Mr. Bashara, let's continue this conversation some other time. Thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, in other news, the Ogun State government has announced the death of the first victim of Lassa fever in the state. The deceased, a 28-year-old female and a resident of Ebonyi State, was treated at an isolation center located at the Olabisi Onabanjo Teaching Hospital in Shagamu. Addressing journalists in his office in Abeokuta, the state capital, the State Commissioner for Health, Mr. Babatunde Ikpaye, says about 121 primary contacts who are under observation have not shown any symptom of the virus. In the meantime, another 28-year-old pregnant woman has tested positive to the virus and is being treated at the same isolation facility. The Commissioner appealed to residents not to panic as the situation is under control. Back here in Lagos, a State Special Offences Mobile Court, which was launched on February 5th, has begun sitting. A courts were inaugurated to facilitate prompt and immediate trial of road traffic and environmental offenders to rid the state of recklessness and impunity. In the special report, our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shoyele, monitored the process of arrest of offenders and the sitting of the mobile court.
The prosecution of road traffic and environmental offenders has commenced. A few days after the inauguration of the mobile courts, officials of the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation and Special Offences Unit Task Force, led by DSP Wilson Alaba, continued with their usual task of enforcing compliance with the road traffic laws. This time, they have the mobile court with them. From Mile 12 through the streets of Ketu, Ojota and the Maryland axis, the task force ensured a free flow of traffic, and where there was a breach of the laws, they made arrests. From there, the team moves to the nearest local government office and the mobile courts process commences. The prosecutor, Mr. Oluremi Kuku from the Office of the Attorney General, faces off against his counterpart, Ms. Diola Arigbabu, from the Office of the Public Defender. Magistrate Nuruddin Layeni presides, and one after the other, the cases of the defendants are heard and dispensed with.
I was coming behind, I told you.
So you were not there, you don't know what happened?
That I ordered my vehicle and arrest that person.
So you don't know what happened at the scene of the crime?
If I don't know, I wouldn't have said what
But you just told us that you wouldn't know. So we are totally lost.
How would I say what I've told the court so far?
My lord, I believe there must be law and order in this court.
It is on record that the defendants have pleaded guilty to the offense committed. There's nothing more for the court than to sentence accordingly to the prescribed and stipulated law relating to traffic offences in Lagos State. The court at this junction will use its discretion on the punishment applicable. Based on the above and fuller reason, I hereby award a fine of 25,000 naira on the defendant and a 48 hours community service. The vehicle shall be in the custody of the Special Offences Office pending the payment of fine.
The offences to be tried by the mobile courts includes driving against traffic, obstructing traffic, refusing to obey traffic signs and lights, crossing the highways where there are pedestrian bridges, driving on the BRT by non-designated vehicles, motorcycles driving on prohibited routes, commercial buses on motion with doors open, which endanger passengers and other road users, street trading, amongst others. Lagosians will do well to obey the laws and return sanity to the roads. Shola Shuyeli, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, Nigerians show care and affection for internally displaced persons in Abuja. Please stay with us.